Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Closers, where we interview a top performing BDM in the property management space and learn how they are growing their business.
I am your host, Drea Hespin, and today we have Willis Allen joining us. Willis, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Drea. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Willis Allen, and I work with Concept 360 Property Management. I am the business development there, and I've been there for about 4 months.
How are you guys doing today? How's business on your end?
Thanks for asking. It is definitely fourth quarter. Spooky season is among us. I don't know if you see the bats here, but it is definitely spooky season. We're excited for the fourth quarter. Business is going pretty well. And as you kind of mentioned there, during the fourth quarter, usually as the fourth quarter is getting started here, it's kind of best to get all of our ducks in a row. So that's what we're looking to do now is business slows down a little bit and ultimately just look to set us up for a great first quarter and an amazing 2022. Few of the things that are kind of on the docket right now is we're trying to get on a few preferred vendor lists in the area. And really mainly is door growth kind of slows down a bit, kind of focusing on shifting a little bit more to really just building and fostering relationships and new partnerships.
Absolutely. You guys are busy. And just to, lead into that, as you've already kind of stated, do you want to try to dive a little further into what lead sources you guys are relying on right now? Maybe top three?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to touch on that. So one, our largest lead source right now, I would say, is inbound leads. So that's all, SEO stuff off of our website. We pay for leads on a few different places, and we're getting some good traction on those right now. Another one that we're kind of looking to grow, and as I've been brought on here, I've really focused on is our realtor referral program. So when I came on here at Concept 360, I set up a full realtor referral program just to kind of make it a little bit more enticing for some of these realtors to work with us. We kind of dropped a little bit of everything in there. There's some instant gratification. They get paid right when they send the lead over. And then further along down the line, we provide them with a client return guarantee as well. So that's been growing a little bit more of a slow burn, but that's one that I'm super excited to keep moving forward with here, especially in this fourth quarter and then 2022. And then last one, we've actually been getting a ton of referrals from recently is neighborhood referrals. So when we come into a new neighborhood and we sign someone on and, we'll go say hi to all the neighbors and they'll see that we're upholding our end of the bargain at the property when we're getting it rent ready and everything like that. And we've probably pulled on 5 or 6 clients over the past few months just by them seeing us in somebody else's driveway and doing work. And they'll come out to us and say, hey, this looks awesome. I want to have a rental income generating property as well. And they reach out to us. It makes it a lot easier. The close ratio is a lot higher on those ones.
That is amazing. I love the proactiveness and just how you guys are getting out there and even with your lead source that is coming in, that is very strong right now. You guys are not just relying on that. And I love that you're going out there and getting the job done. And Willis, to kind of lead into it, how would you best describe being in property management sales to a friend or family member in that sense? Just because, now that you have all this under wraps and everything, how would you best describe that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's interesting too, because especially just kind of your average Joe on the street, unless they're in real estate property management, there's a lot that goes into that, right? There's a lot of different facets of property management. It's multi-leveled, multi-layered and everything like that. So, in terms of my job, I guess kind of how I explain it is, at the end of the day, what I do is I focus on building meaningful relationships first and foremost. And then I've found that the business follows after that, right? So, kind of once you plant that seed with those people, as long as you water it by doing the things that you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do them, that seed's going to bloom into a fruitful partnership. And, before you know it, that seed may even start planting other seeds and ultimately refer you business, right? Kind of like what I touched on with those neighborhood referrals.
Yeah.
But I'd say, the thing that I enjoy the most about my job and what I do is every day is something completely new, right? My favorite part about the job is that I get to meet people from all walks of life who are in, different stages of their lives with different goals and aspirations and what they want to do with their properties. And I'm the guy who's just lucky enough to help them achieve them.
That's awesome. I love it so much. I mean, as we just spoke today, I have probably 6 inches of snow on the ground, and Willis is in California loving his 80-degree weather.
Yep.
But it is true. I mean, the opportunity to meet people that you never even thought you'd meet any other way. I mean, it just opens up that door. And so I'm really excited to hear that that is the way you explain that. Speaking of those relationships, is there any special tips or tricks that you may learned from Scale Club at this point that you would like to share from the community?
I mean, it's just a bevy of important information and information that helps you succeed as a salesperson. So I couldn't really necessarily nail it down to one specific trick I can think of that's, just skyrocketed everything for me. But generally, I take pretty much everything that they say in the Trusted Advisor Mindset workshop. I take that video series as pretty much my Bible. So, I mean, I know there's so much that goes into this BDM job, but I just would stress not overcomplicating things and really getting down to the fundamentals of what makes you successful here, right? I mean, at the end of the day, people are buying our service, but we're really selling ourselves, right? So what does that mean? I mean, it means show up on time, greet people with a smile, find a way to connect with them and make them feel heard, right? And show them that ultimately, we care about them and their property. I don't think you can go wrong by doing that, and especially in today's day and age, all owners are shopping property management with multiple companies, right? So how do you stand out in a world that's full of competition? You make people feel good, right? I mean, people won't always remember the content of what you're saying, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And I think it's important to transfer that over to the client and, let them know that everything's going to be safe, everything's okay, you're in control, and you got it from here.
Willis, you have my vote. whatever you need, you got my support. Those of you who don't know, I mean, Kristen gets to work with Willis all the time. I have met Willis twice now, and I already feel like I'm his best friend. And we've already shared so much. I mean, you do a fantastic job at what you do, Willis, making people feel very welcomed, very much like family. And I can tell that just in our initial conversation. So I appreciate that. That's awesome. I love that you're getting that benefit out of RentScale and the community in there and Scale Club, and just how that has served as an impact in what you do on a daily basis. So that's awesome.
Yes, thanks so much for the kind words, Jael. I'll let you know when I'm running for president. So counting on that vote.
Sounds good. Yeah. So at that point then, do you have any last recommendations for any other ambitious property management BDMs, business development managers in the space?
I guess what I would say is if you're working with RentScale, be confident that you have all of the tools at your disposal to succeed, right? But at the end of the day, having all the tools doesn't mean anything unless you're putting them to good use, right? So just show up every day with a smile and know that not all of your efforts are going to lead to immediate gratification. Some of these deals, these partnerships are a bit more of a slow burn. But if you show up every day and you're putting in consistent effort and following the RentScale playbook, taking that as Bible, making people feel good, you're going to reap the benefits of that.
That's awesome. I love it. And do you have any maybe biggest challenges in your sales today that you're working on conquering, I guess is the right word for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up because we kind of touched on it a little bit here earlier. The seasonality of property management can sometimes be a challenge, right? As we're going in the fourth quarter, October, November, December, the leasing side of things slows down pretty significantly because not many people want to get up and make a huge move during the holidays, right?
Right.
They're saving money during the holidays. They don't want to uproot their lives to move. And so for that reason, it takes us a little bit longer to place a qualified tenant during the fourth quarter. The renter pool shrinks a bit, and seasonality also plays into the owner's side, where a lot of owners are just kind of shopping around right now, maybe trying to figure out what they can do to be ready to be successful in 2022, right, when the new year rolls around. So I think just while door growth is stagnating a little bit here in the fourth quarter, taking into account that my job is the business development manager, right? So even though door growth is slowing down, I'm focused on growing all facets of the business, right? So there's still ways I can do this. I've been focusing a lot on building relationships with realtors in the area, kind of like we talked about, running a non-owner occupied outreach sequence, and really just trying to get out in the community as much as possible to show face and make sure that I'm recognized as a thought leader in the space, basically. I've also found one more thing here. I've also found that, the people who do bust their butt during the fourth quarter are the ones who set themselves apart for an amazing beginning of the year, right? You want to start that year off running. And realtors that you talk to during the fourth quarter, they realize that the people who are working hard now, while most people are taking time off because things slow down, those are the types of people that they want to work with moving forward, because they know that you're a go-getter, you've got their back, and you work hard. You've got a solid work ethic. So those are kind of some of the ways I've still been remaining busy while door growth is stagnated a little bit here during the fourth quarter.
Amen to that. Willis for president. That is seriously so awesome, and exactly what I love to hear, because yes, everybody in a sales form or fashion is that time of year to where you are either that person that's going to take a step back and use that seasonality as an excuse, or you are going to take that seasonality and own it, right? And just power on through and make the most of it. So thank you, Willis, so much. This is such an amazing Coffee for Closers, and I'm so happy that everyone was here to join us. Is there any last thoughts from you, Willis?
Just one more little thing here, I guess, is, working with RentScale, it's definitely empowered me as a BDM. There's a lot that goes in this job, as we've kind of talked about here, and RentScale definitely has given me the tools to be successful in this role. And just the benefit of working with Scale Club and knowing that if I ever run into any roadblocks whatsoever, I've got a team of people who I'm able to bounce ideas and best practices off, because we don't compete in the same place. It's just been really, really awesome, and ultimately led to me making less mistakes and just kind of steepening the learning curve. So I really just want to thank you guys for all the work that you do at RentScale. And I look forward to growing together with you guys in the future and taking this thing to the moon.
That is so awesome. And now that I'm in tears of your such beautiful words, thank you so much. We appreciate it, Willis. We appreciate everybody joining us for another episode of Coffee with Closers. A quick recap for anybody who's still with me here. I wanted to also explain why we brought Willis on for Coffee with Closers. And it is because since he has started working with Concept 360 in the last 3 months, he has consistently been closing doors. He took an underdeveloped pipeline and put in the structure that was needed to make it produce doors. He follows his sales process to a T and has a 40% conversion rate. You heard it from the man himself. He utilizes the RentScale playbook as his own Bible. And in general, RentScale has provided a bevy of important information that has helped him to succeed as a salesperson. And we all understand the challenge of what fourth quarters can present. But as Willis had mentioned, it's an opportunity to get your ducks in a row and set you up for great success in the first quarter. And the people who bust their butt in the fourth quarter set themselves apart when the new year comes around. And prospects see that hustle and they realize you are the type of person that they want to work with when they see you working hard and putting in the work. Seasonality can definitely be used as an excuse, but are you going to use it as an excuse, or are you going to take that challenge on? Willis pointed out that it is his job as a BDM to focus on growing all aspects of the business at all times. On top of realtor relationships and running non-owner occupied outreach sequences, it is just as important to show his face in the community, and he is striving to be seen as a thought leader in the space. A lead source that I really appreciated hearing from him is their neighborhood referrals. Don't underestimate the power of knocking on doors, saying hello to all the neighbors. All owners are shopping for property management with multiple companies. So how do you stand out in the world full of competition? You make people feel good. They won't always remember the content and what you are saying, but they will remember how you made them feel. And it is important, as Willis pointed out, to transfer that over to the client, that you make them feel safe and that everything is under control. We sure appreciate the BDMs within Scale Club. And as Willis had so graciously pointed out, that if you are working with RentScale, be confident that you will have all of the tools available to you to help you succeed and allow you that opportunity to succeed. But having the tools doesn't mean anything unless you are putting them to good use. And not all efforts will lead to immediate gratification. Some are going to be more of a slow burn, but showing up with consistent effort, you are going to reap the benefits. RentScale has empowered him as a BDM. It has given him the tools to be successful. Benefit of Scale Club is knowing that he has a team to bounce ideas and best practices off of if he is ever running into a roadblock, really steepening the learning curve and allowing him to minimize his mistakes. Thank you all so much for joining us yet again, with your host, Drea Hespin.